Well, we're now more than 100 days into the war in Ukraine, and the brutal conflict's in danger of entering a torturous and protracted stalemate. The UK is now warning the conflict could last as long as a decade. So, a pause for thought. Take a look at these 5 pictures and ask yourself what links them. Afghanistan, Yemen, Libya, Iraq, Syria. All devastating wars which cost thousands of lives, sparked humanitarian disasters, and all too briefly commanded the entire planet's attention. And then we moved on. So is Ukraine now in danger? It'll be the next that we simply move on from. It's what happens, isn't it? News moves on, politicians move on, government priorities change as voters fume about problems closer to home, especially with surging inflation. But there's no end in sight for the Ukrainians. The misery only continues. Vladimir Putin's forces now occupy 20% of the country, and up to 100 Ukrainians are dying every single day. And today, the chilling news that 2 British men and 1 Moroccan national were sentenced to death by pro-Russian officials. They were captured fighting with the Ukrainian army in Mariupol. So how do we end all this carnage, this genocide? How do we make sure the world doesn't give up on Ukraine, which is exactly what Vladimir Putin wants us to do? Well, I'm joined now by the Ukrainian ambassador to the UK, Vadym Rystaiko. Welcome, Ambassador. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
I get this awful feeling that the news agenda, which was so Ukraine-dominated, is beginning to move on a bit. You know, people have their own crises at home and so on. And the hell for Ukraine continues. What is your feeling about that? What more can we do to keep Ukraine in people's minds?
Frankly speaking, I'm quite blessed here in this particular capital, in this particular nation, that is not, this process is not that obvious. But I agree with you, that's nature, human nature, news nature, government's nature to move on and other things, because unfortunately where there are so many of them, so many tragedies unfolding all over the globe. But we're trying to keep up this, news about Ukraine or knowledge about Ukraine open for everybody here, and I have very receptive audience here.
There are many ways that this war can end. Some are not too bad for Ukraine, notwithstanding what's already happened. Some would be horrendous. What is the worst case scenario as far as you're concerned?
Worst is what Putin wants. He wants to reinstate whatever government he wants in Kyiv. He wanted to get all over this territory. He wants to get us back to the stables of post-Soviet republics. Some of them he already has in his stables. Now he is the biggest prize probably out of all the post-Soviet republics, Ukraine.
Is Putin the new Hitler, as far as you're concerned?
Personally, I believe that he is the closest one we can attribute to Hitler right now in this particular era.
And if he prevails in Ukraine, do you have any doubt that he will then try and expand and invade other countries and try and, as he sees it, restore the glory of the Soviet Union?
Totally. If you feed the shark with hamburger, it doesn't mean they will have to have hamburger each and every time. Next time they will need, I don't know, cow or something bigger. And Ukraine, in comparison to what he had, Transnistria is Moldova, some places in Georgia, Azerbaijan and in Armenia. Now he is coming for bigger and bigger price. And if he has Ukraine, by the way, the biggest by territory in Europe, that's a huge nation, 40+ million people. If he has it, what will stop him for the next move in Europe? Do you think NATO? Well, we have to think.